Hey guys, Philippine Info Channel here. My name's Justin and I'm guest hosting for Steve. I want to talk to you about my experience in buying my motorcycle. There was some times when it was really frustrating, like a lot of times talking with sales people here, trying to find information, and online when I look up the different models, it kept talking in glowing terms about the motorcycle has wings and it has this modern sleek design. And I was looking for facts, the specs on it. And sometimes I'd find specs and they would actually contradict each other on weight or width. So we have about a dozen motorcycle dealers here in Tracy. I went to 10 of them and I went back multiple times. And this is the reason why. I went to one dealer and was looking at Yamahas and Suzukis and Hondas. Those are the three brands I was looking at. I didn't want to get a Russi. I didn't want to get an Italian brand just for parts or service. So I was looking at them, talking to that one salesman, went back the next day, talked to a different salesman, got different answers. I was getting ready to buy with cash, and the third salesman happens to mention that I can come pick it up in 3 weeks. If I'm paying cash, I have to leave it there for 3 weeks. It's company policy. The first two salesmen didn't mention that. But if I was buying it on installments, I could take it that day, no problem. And on installments, I'd get a free helmet. So you really have to ask a lot of questions. But I got down to looking between a Suzuki Burgman 125 and a Yamaha Mio. Mio has several different models, but here's the problem I had. The Mio, underneath the seat where the helmet goes, they would stick the battery there. Mine, the battery's out front, right above the headlight. So I can put a 3/4 size helmet under the seat. The other thing was the size of the floorboard, and with mine, I'll show you later, where you can actually put your feet up and you can brace for these full brakes that I do around here. It's either full throttle or full brakes with the way traffic is. There's no test driving here. So there was a friend of mine, he was looking at my same model. I told him he could ride my bike to make sure he wanted it before he went and bought it. Because some dealers won't even let you sit on the motorcycle. Some did, but you can't start it, you can't drive it. Now, the one big difference between this model of the Burgman and the Yamaha and the NMAX. I was looking at the NMAX 155. Now that one, the 155 has radiator. I didn't want a radiator. Same with the Honda 160. It has a radiator. Now I've owned about 40 bikes in the U.S. All the way up to, I had two Harley Electric Glide Ultras, the biggest bikes they make. I had a Honda Shadow 1100 with radiator, a Goldwing, and with the radiator, and both of those I always had coolant leak problems I could never fix. So you don't really need a radiator here. And then the other thing is those bigger bikes have the gas tank between your feet, so your floorboard's not flat. And I can carry 4 Walter Mart grocery bags home on the floorboards. I have 2 hooks, one right in front of the seat and one on the front panel. I can carry home 2 8 or 10 liter jugs of water from 7-Eleven. And on the bigger bikes, because the gas tank being there, you lose that floor space and you can't carry home big stuff like that. On my bike, I brought home a 6-foot ladder at night in bad traffic. I also went and got 3-meter long water pipe, brought that home. So what I was looking for is something I can carry a lot of things with, because getting around here with putting together my apartment and needing to get things, I wanted something I could carry. And then I was looking at price. Now the NMAX is about 150, 160,000 pesos. And mine was 81,400. So half the price. So I lose 30 cc's on the engine, but I actually get more carrying space. The seat is about the size of the NMAX or the Honda 160. It's much bigger than the Yamaha Mio. The Yamaha Mio is a much narrower seat and shorter. My handlebars are 5 centimeters wider than the Yamaha Mio. And that's what it came down to, the Mio I-125 or this one. That was my final two choices. I have a real narrow spot. I've got to go through a carport, and if the car's not parked over far enough, I can't get by to get down to my apartment. So that was one consideration for me, plus squeezing through cars when you're lane splitting or over in the right gutter and passing all the stop traffic. You don't want to go wide. And the other thing I wanted was a manual, not a manual transmission. I want to go automatic. Again, because you're stopping, you're starting, and oftentimes I see motorcycles next to me either miss a gear or they haven't downshifted at a stop, and then they could try to take off in third or fourth gear and they stall out. Also, I wanted the scooter type so I can have my legs in front of me, not on the sides of the motorcycle. If I lay it down, or if I get hit from the side, or even squeezing between jeepneys or cars, I want my feet and legs where I can swing to the other side if I need to, if I'm going to get hit, or just keep them where they're not on both sides of the motorcycle and more vulnerable to getting hit or hitting other cars. So I wanted the bigger seat. I also want Kickstart. The bigger bikes, the NMAX, and I believe the Honda 160, I didn't look at that closely, but they do not have Kickstart. And a friend of mine, he came back from he'd been gone a month to the US, came back, and his NMAX wouldn't start. He couldn't get the seat open because the battery was dead, and I guess they give some bypass keys that you put up underneath the rear fender, and those weren't working. And so he couldn't get in there. He couldn't kickstart it because there's no Kickstarter on it. So if I'm going to be out and about, go somewhere, and have a dead battery, I want to be able to start it. And that was really important to me. So there's no way I was going to buy a motorcycle without a kickstart. Now the negatives of this motorcycle. Well, it's got small tires, but they're not really a problem because it's designed for that. It's got 12-inch on front, 10-inch on back. But I've had no issues with that compared to most of them have 14-inch rims. It does not have ABS brakes, but I don't need them. I mean, I'm a pretty experienced rider. Been riding since before I was a teenager and ridden all kinds of bikes. So I've never had ABS brakes, except for maybe on the Goldwing. And the other negative, it does not have a parking brake. Usually on the left brake lever, you can squeeze it, push down the pin or the clip, and it holds the brake on if you're parked on a steep hill. So on this one, you just have to park uphill on a steep hill and use the center kickstand. And then the turn signal has no clicker on it. There's no sound. It's just totally silent. So I haven't figured out if I can add a different turn signal relay to where it'll make noise. I've done that on other motorcycles. When I've changed to LED, I had to switch from a thermal turn signal switch to electronic, and also could get a louder clicker on it. So there's only been a few times when I found I left my turn signal on as I'm going down the road. Let me show you what I've got here. So the batteries right under this cover, easy to get to, in the fuses. It's got a lot of floor space. The front hook here, and then this little hook folds out, and I'll do one 10-liter bottle of water hanging here, and I'll lay the other one down and hook it in so it's not going to fall off. But besides having my feet down, this is nice, having the feet up so you can brace yourself for braking. Just on long rides, it's a little bit more comfortable putting them out. I changed out the rear grab bar to one that had a rack for this top box. And this is a box I brought from the US. I had it on another motorcycle in the US. And it can actually fit 2 full-size helmets. And it has the lock on it. And like I say, this seat is wider and longer, a lot more comfortable than the Yamaha Mio. And I brought bigger mirrors from the US. Those are 4-inch by 6-inch mirrors. Made sure that I bought a bike that fit those. The Yamaha has converters, and they switched to a 8mm mirror stem, and these are 10mm. Added the crossbar so I can put a camera on there. But for the price, it's a pretty good deal. Now the next month, when my friend bought one, it went from $81,400 to $82,000 something 30 days later. So prices do go up. Now you cannot change the color on your motorcycle. If you have a blue motorcycle, you cannot change it without a permit. You can change it to a different shade of blue without a permit. But if you're going to change the color to anything other than what it's registered as, you have to go to the police, get a form, have it notarized, pay a fee, take it to LTO, pay a fee, and then you can change the color on your motorcycle or car or anything else. But I'm used to changing the color, and I was planning on doing it on this one, but it's not worth the hassle to me, so I'll just leave it white. Anyway, that's about it. I hope you learned a few things, something to watch out for. Make sure if you're paying cash, you're able to take it. Now, they want people doing installments because you pay a whole lot more, but then they offer a free helmet. But the place I bought it from, I paid cash, was able to take it that day, no problem. They gave me 4 coupons for free oil changes, but the free oil changes just means the labor. You still have to buy the oil. And they don't do it at the shop here in Tracy. I got to take it out to another town, Tanza, about 15 kilometers away when I had my first oil change done. So I'm pretty happy with this bike, and I recommend it. Look at the Suzuki. The other thing that Suzuki scooter, they make 600cc. Oh, that's one other thing that's important to note. When you go up by Manila, if you're in this area, if you have anything under a 400cc, you cannot get on the expressway where the toll plazas are, the freeway. You've got to have 400cc's or more to get on that. Otherwise, you get a ticket. And so with the 125, there's other ways to get to Manila. Just stay off the freeway. So that's it. God bless. See you later.